Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stuck to Strong. Today we have a wonderful guest, Dana Bradley. Dana has been a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years, and a few years ago, 5 years to be precise, was facing a health crisis. And she decided to confront the crisis head-on, was advised by her doctors that she was in serious jeopardy. Through a process of diet, exercise, and a whole bunch of healthy living and mindfulness, she aggressively reclaimed her health, losing 157 pounds.
It's not impossible. You have to shift your mindset into knowing that you can do this.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stuck to Strong. Today we have a wonderful guest, Dana Bradley. She hails from Alabama, right, Dana?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Alabama. And Dana has been a stay-at-home mom for over 20 years. And a few years ago, 5 years to be precise, was facing a health crisis. And she decided to confront the crisis head-on, was advised by her doctors that she was in serious jeopardy. Through a process of diet, exercise, and a whole bunch of healthy living and mindfulness, she aggressively reclaimed her health, losing 157 pounds. But that is not the real story. At the other end of the rainbow was she found a new opportunity in the form of competing in a beauty pageant as a runway model and got selected as won the Miss Alabama title, and in another few weeks is on her way to Paris. So today we have Dana telling us our story, a story that she hopes one day to even take to the TEDx stage to inspire the world with. So this is Dana Bradley with her story of Stuck to Strong. Welcome, Dana.
Hi.
Tell me, what was your thinking when your doctor told you that you had only a few years to live if you did not get your act together? What crossed your mind?
I was sad. I was pretty much just in despair because my mom passed away when I was 14. She neglected her health, and I lost her before I grew up, actually. 14 years old without a mom. Here my kids are 13 and 16, and the doctor has pretty much given me a life sentence. I had all kinds of health issues. I had 2 mini strokes before I was 35. I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I had type 2 diabetes, fibromyalgia, hypothyroidism, sleep apnea, everything that you could name as far as an illness I had. And the doctor pretty much said, you can leave your kids without a mom. And I quite frankly wanted to just drop to my knees because I did not want my kids to face a life without me, and I did not want to die. So I had to do something about it, and decided through nutrition and exercise that I was going to have to make this lifestyle change and live for my kids.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. It's always inspiring to see the ferocity with which a mom will do anything when it comes to facing the prospect of losing connection with their kids. And in your case, it was the prospect that you may not be around in your kid's life that made you decide to take charge. What did you do from that point onwards?
I was a very big sugar addict. I drank Coca-Colas pretty much by the case every day to every other day. I had to get rid of all them and pretty much give all that up to be able to make the lifestyle change. I decided to research nutrition and what was going to be right for me and my body. I pretty much had to not eat in moderation. I had to just pretty much completely do a different lifestyle of healthy living, grilled foods, baked foods, exercise, more vegetables, fruits, things I really was not used to really consuming a lot of. I was drinking more calories than I was eating. As I said, I was a sugar addict, and I had to pretty much let those go. I pretty much emptied out everything in my pantry that I knew I would be tempted by. I had to go buy me a pair of tennis shoes and some workout clothes just so I could exercise because I had none. I stepped into motion, and looked at YouTube videos and started with YouTube videos the morning after I was given pretty much the life sentence. I knew I had to make a change, and this time it was going to have to be different because I escaped death after my two mini strokes. I could have died, and here I was slowly. I was a ticking time bomb, and I didn't want to live my life unhealthy anymore. I wanted to have the energy. I wanted to, as I said, live for my kids and let them see that I could do this, and I was going to be around for them.
So, how long did it take for you to lose your first 5 pounds?
I lost my first 5 pounds in a week. Giving up all my soft drinks and tracking my calories, watching my carbs, eating enough protein. I pretty much had to treat my car like my body like a car because I needed to make sure everything was running. I needed to make sure everything I was eating was nutritious, and my body just kind of went into shock because it was used to having all sorts of junk food, fried foods, and I went ahead and stripped myself completely, went to healthier foods. In that first week, I was able to really see the difference. That those first 5 pounds came off the scale, and I was just like, yeah, maybe this is going to work. I can do this.
What was the toughest hurdles in the first month?
Facing no Coca-Colas, just everything I was used to eating. It seems like every time I would turn around, there would be a commercial on TV with fast food or some kind of food to make me tempt it. Getting up in the morning and exercising every day, the first week to week and a half was really hard because I had to create a routine that I could live with, that I could do. And exercising was not something I was very fond of. I had to make myself do it. It wasn't so much about the nutrition. I knew I could pretty much control that. It was the exercise that was hard for me because it was having that motivation to get up every morning and just do it. And I was one that liked to sleep in. So I had to go ahead and just pretty much abruptly change everything in my lifestyle.
What was your weight when you began this journey?
284 pounds.
Okay. And what was your weight at the end of the first month?
I lost around 20 pounds the first month, just because I was really diligent. I was wanting to go ahead and do this. I was really heavy, so I wasn't used to really what I say dieting or eating healthy. I was drinking a lot of water, tons of water, and something I never really did. I was pretty much flushing out a lot of toxins. I was exercising avidly every single day, pretty much 5 to 6 days a week, where I was not getting any.
What kind of exercise were you doing?
I was doing YouTube videos, and it wasn't until I lost the first 40 to 50 pounds that I started incorporating jogging and running. I run actively 6 miles a day now, and I have been for many years.
How long did it take for you to lose the first 50?
It was around 4 or 5 months. I would say close to 5 months, if I'm tracking right. It was not easy. The exercise became easier. I was doing more and more intense workouts versus the low intensity. I started low intensity and worked my way up to higher intensity, where I was burning more calories and my heart rate was getting faster. I was doing more cardio, being able to walk and do things outdoors. It was getting summer months, and I was able to get out there and not just do exercise videos in the house, but get out there and walk and do what I call bonus cardio.
I see. And when did you was the weight loss a consistent linear thing? Like you kept going 50, 60, 70, or did it plateau and then you had
I plateaued a few times, and it really got me down because here you are on this upward slope, and you're losing weight, you're doing everything wonderful, and you get on the scale the day you're supposed to weigh, and it didn't move, and you're thinking to yourself, "What have I done wrong?" Like I looked at my tracking and tried to figure out what I did differently, and I really didn't do anything differently. My body just hit a plateau where it was, I guess you can say, stuck again, and I had to learn how to get off the plateau. I researched what I could to figure out how to get my body back moving again. And what I did was I incorporated different foods, different types of foods. I incorporated different types of non-starchy carbs so that my body would think that it was getting something great, but it really wasn't getting something that great. It was still getting something nutritious, but something different that it wasn't used to. And I was able to up my exercise a little bit more, and then I started noticing the plateau was coming off.
So take us through the first year. You went straight, you lost 50 pounds in about 4 to 5 months. And then
Mm-hmm.
at what point did you hit the first plateau?
I hit the first plateau around 3.5 to 4 months. And then I hit another plateau into my 8th month of my weight loss. And then
How long did the first plateau last?
the first plateau lasted a week and a half to 2 weeks. And
What,
then I was able to move the pounds.
how did you cross that?
I went ahead and did things differently in my nutrition. I went to sweet potatoes, which I wasn't really eating. I went to quinoa, went to brown rice, where I wasn't eating any kind of starches like that. And then I would take them away. I'd eat those for 2 or 3 days, along with my other protein and other vegetables. And then I would take those starches away and those carbs away, and then I noticed that my body was able to react differently. It was like it was getting something good, but then it decided, I decided I was going to go ahead and change it. So I went ahead and went back to what I was eating on a regular basis, which I switched things up, and the plateau, I stopped it.
Did you have a guide or a mentor who taught you that? The idea of taking small quantities of starch in between and then going back to a tight starch-free diet, or did you?
No, I just basically researched. That was what I did the minute I started my weight loss journey. COVID had hit. You couldn't really go see doctors very much anymore. You couldn't really reach out. And I thought, well, I have to be able to do this. What can I do? I started Googling everything I could on eating nutritious, what starches I could eat, what kind of fruits were better for me, the regular sugar alcohols, what I could do as far as cutting back on sugar. I went off all my medicine, as I wanted to see if I could get my levels down. I wanted to see if I could do this on my own. I didn't want medicine to be a factor in if my levels went low and they were normal. Would it be the medicine, or would it be my lifestyle change? So I pretty much gave up all my medicine, as well, and
What
went back.
medicines were you on at that time?
I was on thyroid medicine. I was on high blood pressure medicine. I was on a sleep apnea monitor. I was getting ready to. I had type 2 diabetes, but I did not do well with metformin or anything like that. It really messed my stomach up. So I pretty much was trying to watch my sugar, but I did not want to take any medicine for it because the medicine had really bad effects on me. The cholesterol medicine made me feel very sluggish, though I had to take it. High blood pressure medicine, I had lower back pain. I had all kinds of illnesses going on. I was also taking depression medicine because I was down. I was having anxiety, and I was just depressed because I was so big, and I was suffering depression from when my mom passed away. So it kind of carried with me throughout my adulthood. And so I pretty much stopped all of that. And I wanted to feel better, and I needed to know if that was going to happen without the medication. Was medication making me feel bad as much as the foods I was consuming?
So it's amazing what you did was you did the research and you did it right. The metabolism, when you start losing weight through diet and exercise, what happens is you lose weight for the first 30, 40 pounds, and then the body shuts down. It says, I'm not going to let go of any more weight. And you're going to have to trick it. You have to say, okay, no, here's a little bit of sweet potato, here's a little bit of carbs, here's a little bit of, starch. Don't shut down. And then that allows that body enough uh, carbohydrates to decide not to turn on all the fat conserving genetic pathways. And then you can push through that plateau. That's really, really very smart what you did. Most people who don't have a coach usually will not figure that out. It's pretty neat that you found that through your own research and were able to apply it. But that is actually the best way to do it. Not many people do it very well. They lose the first 20, 30 pounds and they hit that first plateau, and then they lose heart
They
and
give up.
they give up. They lose hope because they don't know how to break through that plateau. And you broke it by saying, okay, I'm going to go back and feed your body a little bit of starch. Or the other thing is, people start feeding the starch back and then they don't stop,
Right.
and then they go right back. They gain everything back. The key was you gave yourself a week's worth of a holiday and then went right back to the deprivation. And that speaks of enormous discipline. And it's amazing that you did that. It's pretty inspirational.
Thank
You
you.
Yeah, you'd be able to. There are some very fundamental lessons in this, in your story, that can be crafted into a very, very powerful message.
I coach. After I lost my weight, I wanted to help others who were like me get to the other side and become healthy. So I became a health coach through what I learned through my journey to help other women battle their weight loss, and they've had great success rates. So I feel like that has been a very big purpose of mine in helping bring what I've done in my journey to other people who were like me or are like me to be able to do what I did.
Yeah, that's amazing that you do that. I see that you also coach menopausal women or women approaching menopause. And I'm sure that your story of overcoming the hormonal challenges that go along with being heavy would have great value to that population of people.
Well, I went through menopause 3 years ago, and I've been able to keep the weight off for 3 years. I had a complete hysterectomy, and my doctor told me that the chances of me gaining weight were going to be very, very high because of having no hormones. And women in general, when they hit menopause, it's kind of like their body goes kind of in a downward spiral. And I again went to research to figure out how I was going to combat menopause and not let it affect me, because here I had lost 157 pounds and I was not about to go backwards and let menopause take back anything from me. So I went ahead and did research on what I could do. I had to learn how to deal with stress. I had to learn my sleeping patterns had to change to be able to make sure that I wouldn't get stuck. My eating again too had to change a little bit, because certain greens and things that you eat that you fuel your body with can help or hinder a female in menopause. So I had to really dig down deep and do the research. I had to know that doing a ton of workout was not good for my body, that sometimes it's less is better.
Yes. A lot of people are surprised when I tell them that, if you're gentle to your body will be gentle to you. And people sometimes go overboard in saying that, oh, I'm going to beat this. They approach it like as if they're going to war, when actually, yes, you are going to war, but not in an overt way, but in a covert way.
Yeah.
And you go to war in a different way, in a subtle way, by regularizing your sleep wake cycle, by linking it to the sunrise sunset cycle, you flow with nature rather than fight against nature. And you'll be surprised how easy it is to keep weight under control.
Right. I think too many people overthink it and they struggle with it more than they really need to when they just need to basically have a routine, a plan of action, and create habit for themselves. Kind of like brushing your teeth and making your bed. You know, if eating right and doing those things and exercise all play a part into your everyday routine. And if you stay consistent with it, you'll have longevity. You'll have longevity with it.
Part of it is also the American ethos of, chest thumping, testosterone, macho. I got the grind. I'm going to grind through life, and I'm going to. So you approach it like some kind of a big battlefield, and actually, a more harmonious approach is likely to produce results far more dramatically than anything else. It's amazing that you did that, and there's some powerful lessons there too. Um, so, what's next for you?
Well, I'll be walking the runway in Paris in 2 weeks. I'm working on my book. It's going to have part of my life as to why I started my journey, going back to my childhood, into all these opportunities that I've had, into the negative and positive that you have in weight loss journey in itself. It was more of a spiritual, emotional, mental journey as far as a physical journey too. It took place within all of that, and I want people to be able to read my book and can resonate with it and feel it. And I hope that when they feel it, that if they're stuck, they can get to the point where they know that they can do this too. We're not too old, and we can do anything that we put our minds to. We're in control, and we can just go ahead and take the bull by the horns and run with it and create that lifestyle and that life that we want for ourselves. Or we can just stay stuck, where I know nobody wants to stay stuck, but if they read my book, I want them to be able to read it and go, because of her, I have a chance in my journey now, and I'm going to do this. And I'd love to be able to motivational speak and be able to bring my story and my story of of perseverance and courage and bravery through everything I've endured to other people. Society looks at you different when you're heavy, and we have a really bad issue with obesity in our country, and that needs to change. I want people to be around for their families. I want dads to be around for their kids. I want moms to be around for their kids. I want people to find joy in their journey and live a meaningful life. And you can do that being healthy and not being stuck. And who knows? I mean, maybe more modeling, maybe another pageant, maybe a documentary or a movie. I don't know.
Have people treated you differently after you lost your weight?
Absolutely. I lost friends who I thought were friends. I had a lot less support than I thought I would.
You lost friends after you lost
Yes,
your weight?
yes.
I would have thought you would have gained more friends.
Well, I've gained a lot of supporters, but there's a lot of people that are negative. They want to assume how you lost weight, what you did, how you did it. And basically, I had to live for my kids. My journey is my journey. I know what I did. I know eating healthy and exercising was my tool of choice. And people aren't happy when someone sees someone changing. I've always been the same person on the inside. I look way different on the outside. A lot of people in my community didn't recognize who I was when I lost a lot of weight. A lot of people thought my husband got divorced and remarried me. There's been a lot of changes, but there's been a lot of support from people that I've met all over the country, being able to see my journey. And then I've had people closest to me resent and be jealous and be insecure. And that's the hard part of the journey. Not everyone is going to be comfortable with you changing. My kids, they've never seen a thin mom. I've always been a big, heavy mom. And so here mom's got long hair now, and mom's wearing makeup, and mom's wearing, nice different clothes, more hip clothes, and she's not the big mom anymore. And their friends are saying, "Well, your mom looks great. Your mom's doing this. Your mom's doing that." And it's hard for kids who to wrap their brain around that. And but at the end of the day, I do have a lot of support. More than I had than I thought I would. I've had to endure haters, and you get all that through a journey, whether you're doing good in life or whether you're doing bad in life. And it's just something that we have to take in. I used all negatives for my fuel to do better. When I would have a hater say something to me or discredit my journey or do something like that, I just used those words that they gave me and used it for fuel to do better, and to do better in my workouts, to do better in my nutrition. Those are, I want to say thank you to them because they helped build me up. They gave me more fuel for my fire.
That is wonderful. People form opinions, interpretations, and judgments out of the events of their life. And if any of the events of their life make them reflect upon themselves in a negative way, they'll frequently turn around and project it back out. So if you're gaining a more youthful exterior due to the discipline of weight loss, makes them question the values or direction of their own life in a negative way, they may sometimes find that too challenging and therefore attack the source of that reflection, which is you. And as long as you can see that it is not about you, it is about them, and then you have only one question that you have to take is, do I need to have this relationship? And if so, then I have to fix it and try to make it whole. But if I don't have to have the relationship, then you just walk away.
Right. There's been a lot of toxic people, and I've always showed them kindness and always been humble within my journey, given them grace when they didn't need it or didn't deserve it. It makes me sleep better at night knowing that I know it has nothing to do with me and my journey.
Well, you can always go and tell your husband, like, hey, honey, here, I'm your new wife. And then,
Yeah. Well, he's definitely had a hard time with that too. But at the end of the day, I'm healthy. I have a good, clean bill of health. I'm not on any medicine. All the problems I had have reversed.
Good for
And
you.
and so I feel like I've been given a new life by God, and I'm not going to take it for granted. I'm going to keep on plugging away and keep on carrying my healthy lifestyle and keep on continuing to bring it to other people that will listen.
This is a personal transformation for you. Do you see yourself taking this message about how America is in the grip of this obesity crisis that is fueled by a market economy that values addictive behaviors, the money generated out of addictive behaviors rather than healthy behaviors? Do you see yourself taking that kind of an angle of educating people?
Yes, I do. When I was Mrs. Alabama International, I had to go talk to boys and girls clubs about health and wellness. And it was hard to speak to kids, especially who were underprivileged, because they really had no control over how they were eating at home. They would tell me their parents couldn't afford to buy the healthy foods. It was easier to buy a bag of donuts than it was to buy a bag of fruit. And there's so many things in our school system, so many things that are unhealthy that we're feeding our kids for lunches. There's a fast food restaurant, many of them within minutes from each other, and people are grabbing fast food. They're not eating with their families anymore.
Dana, there, there is in America, seems to be a preoccupation with the creation or the pursuit of profits through the marketing of addictive substances. Whether it is the addiction of nicotine, or it is the addiction of fentanyl, whether it is addiction of marijuana, or it's the addiction of sugar and processed foods, the fundamental equation is always the pursuit of product through addiction. And this people tend to compartmentalize this and say, no, 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 only the fentanyl trade is toxic, or the marijuana trade is toxic, or the cocaine, or the methamphetamine, or the crystal meth. That is the bad stuff. But the truth is, America as such needs to understand that the pursuit of profit through the marketing of addiction is fundamentally toxic.
Right. We can be addicted to so many things,
And
and they're all expensive.
I think that would be the greatest TEDx message that you could have. You could use the dialogue of your own fight against the addiction towards junk food, processed food, and sugar as a metaphor for the larger dialogue that this country is right now struggling with in terms of addiction, the pursuit of making profit through addiction. And you can elevate your dialogue, your own journey from fat to fit, from large to lovely, whatever you can call it. You know, you can use any type of binary metaphor and you can make it a catchy theme song. You know, you can say, you know, I was plump to pageant queen, you know, and you can
Right.
create a nice sound bite that will capture. But if you want to elevate your story beyond the millions of other obese individuals who overcame their largeness and became fit and functional, you need to elevate your story into a bigger context. And that context is the way your story is actually a component of the larger preoccupation in this society of making money through the sale of addiction.
Okay.
So I would strongly advise you to start thinking about framing your journey in that context.
Okay.
So your journey as you talk about it is still very much a very dramatic, inspirational journey, but it is not unique in the sense that there are other people who have had the same journey. Every person who has had this journey, yes, it is very dramatic and it is very inspirational, but it still does not rise above the top, because the question about TED and TEDx is, how do you contribute, how does your story contribute to an idea worth spreading? That is the key.
Okay.
All TEDx stages has to be an idea worth spreading, something of global significance. And that is the impact of obesity as a subtext in the larger story of compulsive behaviors, addictive behaviors that humanity struggles with all over the world.
Okay. That makes perfect sense.
And it is also relevant from a medical perspective. Today we have this wonderful wonder drugs, GLP-1, Ozempic, semaglutide, or Mounjaro, which is tirzepatide. And what they are finding is that the entire GLP-1 category of drugs, they all affect addictive compulsive behaviors. They affect the brain centers that are dopamine driven, that are satisfaction and gratification driven. And by satisfying that, they find that patients who take these drugs automatically stop drinking, they stop smoking, they stop seeking. Compulsive addiction behavior gets down regulated. And so your story has a great degree of value because it dovetails into the biochemical story that is coming out of the GLP-1s.
Right. I've coached, and I'm coaching people now who are just out of GLP-1s who have gained their weight back. It's
Yeah.
they've stopped the drug and they haven't learned how to master their health and nutrition, and now
Yeah,
they're
you would be a great asset because people are going to find out in another year or two. They're going to find out, yeah, it was wonderful to lose the weight under a GLP-1 drug, but how do we keep it off? So your methodology would be of great value as an adjunct to all the current GLP-1 programs out there that allow people to get go beyond the crutch. You used a tool to get you to this point, but now at some point you have to let go of the crutch.
Right.
How do you learn to walk without the crutch? But we have some wonderful lessons in the story that you have shared with us, and I want to thank you for coming on to Stuck to Strong with that. Uh, in regard to advising you about your goal to take your story to the TEDx stage, I'm going to recommend that you take your story to my coach, and I would also connect you to a couple of people in the TED space who may be interested in your story. So we'll see.
Okay. I would appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you. It was wonderful talking to you. We have spoken now for about 45 minutes, and it's been a wonderful story. And I definitely you're an amazing woman and someone that I'm really glad that Rena Friedman forwarded your name to me and invited you to come and have this dialogue. I'm glad we met.
Thank you. I am too. It was very nice to meet you, and I appreciate you having me and talking with me today. It's was wonderful. So I do appreciate it. So I've met a lot of people through my journey, and I learn more and more every day about more people, and I savor it, and I'm enjoying the journey. So
I think you'll go far. Look forward to seeing you on a TEDx stage soon.
well, I hope so too. So that'll be a goal. That'll be on my bucket list. So
Thank you.
thank you.